So I'm back for another installment of answering your questions and another day of telling the YouTube auditor to go fuck himself. Now, to make things nice and quick, I might as well tell him to go fuck himself over the next few videos now. That way I could just dive right into the questions. So, YouTube auditor can go fuck yourself over the next couple videos, so I don't have to say that shit again. And before I begin, I want to thank everyone who participated in the open lobby on Saturday and shit, and those of you who got to watch the live stream on Twitch. So hopefully everyone who got to play had some fun, and everyone who was watching had a good time. Now, I got a good number of questions this time around, and I'm going to answer them pretty much in the order I received them. I'm not going to get to any bullshit, so let's just kick off the festivities, get right to the first question. Hurleyisdaman wants to know, you always make it clear that YouTube is a hobby and not a job, and every now and then, hobbies will end. What would be some circumstances that would make you leave YouTube or your hobby? There's only two things that would make me leave it. One is time, the other is my health. If for any reason I didn't have enough time, whether it's job, whether it's family, whatever the case may be, obviously I wouldn't be able to do YouTube. Now the second reason is obviously health. Let's just say I'm not healthy, I have some shit wrong with me, I have cancer, whatever the fuck it is. Obviously that would mean there's something wrong, so those would be the main two reasons why I wouldn't be able to do YouTube. However, you actually bring up a good question, because I was going to do a video about this in probably a couple weeks or maybe even a couple months or so. At some point, I'm going to be taking a break from YouTube. There's going to be a small hiatus, and no, it's not because I'm leaving or anything like that. It's mainly because I'm going to be moving. Now, anybody who's moved, anybody who's sold property knows you have to sell your first property in order to buy your second property. You take the profits that you made or after you pay off your mortgage and shit like that, and use that as the down payment for the next portion of it. So the main thing that I need to do is sell my first property, and then in between finding a new house, what I have to do is I'm going to stay with some family or some shit, or I'm going to stay in some potential temporary housing or something like that. Whatever the case may be, I already have a place lined up and shit like that. However, I know that I'm not going to have a chance to do YouTube videos. I'll probably have a chance to do some gaming and whatnot, but I probably won't have too much time to do YouTube videos. So I don't know when that's going to be. I do know that I'm going to be putting my place up on the market probably around September or so. Figure it takes a couple months or whatever it is to sell your place and shit like that. If you're lucky, who knows? Obviously, buyers want a lowboy and shit like that. But anyway, I'm going to be taking a break once I'm in between places. So after I sell my first place and in between buying my next place, obviously there'll be a time where I'm not making videos. So it's going to be a short break, but who knows? We'll see when it actually happens. Next question from Shut It Down 12. Do you think the virtual reality headsets are going to get good sales? I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. It's going to follow Microsoft's Xbox Kinect and the original Wii. It's going to have amazing sales when it first comes out, but over time, people are going to realize that it's just sort of a fad. Like any peripheral that has ever come out with a goddamn console, whether it's a driving wheel, whether it was that Nintendo glove, whatever the hell it is, Xbox Kinect, PlayStation Move, over time, people realize this is sort of boring. They like just playing normal video games, and virtual reality has been around for a long time. Now, granted, with Oculus Rift and that Project Morpheus, whatever the hell it is, they obviously have more technology than we had 20 fucking years ago. But one of the things you learn when it comes to any peripheral is that over time, it bores the shit out of people. Microsoft's Xbox Kinect sold shitloads. However, do people actually play that? I mean, realistically, what did people use it for on the Xbox One when it was connected to it? Xbox, turn on. Xbox, turn on. Listen, the sales to start are going to be great because people are going to be interested, but over time, when the gaming software is not there, when the library isn't there, when the fad of it runs out and the novelty is over of it, you're going to notice that the sales pretty much plummet. Same thing that what happened to the Wii a few years ago, where the sales were magnificent to start, but then over time it started to regress and shit like that. Same as the Kinect, it started out amazing and then eventually it regressed. You're going to see the same exact thing with virtual reality. A lot of sales to start, absolutely nothing in the long term. Next question from Jim Bob Lee. Something short and sweet this time. What is your biggest regret? I'll tell you right now, I don't have a lot of regrets that I've done in life, but the biggest one that I easily have is not listening to the advice I got all those years ago when playing sports and how to take care of myself. Now, I know when people are young, we know that we're indestructible. We're going to heal quickly. We don't need to worry about injuries and shit like that. But I'll tell you right now, a lot of people from coaches to trainers to adults, they told you how to take care of your body. You need to rest. You need to relax. You need to let injuries heal. I didn't listen to that advice. So what did I do? I went out and I played another game. One of the things I used to do was I used to be in 2 baseball leagues or whatever it was, or 2 football leagues. So when I was in 2 baseball leagues, I might pitch on a Monday in one league, and then I'd have to turn around and I'd say, oh yeah, I'm perfectly fine. And I'd pitch in the second league on a Wednesday. My arm was dead tired. My body did not have time to relax. My body did not have time to recover from all these injuries. So what ends up happening, when you're younger, you don't feel that shit. Sure, you're a little tired, you're a little worn out, your arm might feel a little bit dead, but once you start getting older, man, once you get past 20, 25, 30, 35, eventually when you get down the road in life, you start feeling that shit like a motherfucker. And I'm starting to feel that shit. Everything from arthritis, from all those injuries that I didn't let heal, my arm cannot throw a ball the way it used to. In the wintertime, I wake up, my legs are in pain, they're locked up because of all the arthritis and shit like that. I'll tell you now, all that shit that I ignored as a kid is coming back to bite me in the ass now. All that shit that I said, oh no, it's never gonna affect me, it's not gonna bother me. I'll tell you right the fuck now. All those days that I should have iced my shoulder, should have iced my knees, should have let injuries heal. You know, I would break a finger and I would go out and pitch the next day. I would sprain my ankle and then still go out and play football and say, no, I'm perfectly fine, and play on a sprained ankle and shit like that. None of that shit was given the proper amount of time to let my body recover. So now that I'm getting fucking older, I'm feeling all that shit. So yeah, that's my biggest fucking regret, because I did that shit real fucking stupid back in the day. Next question from InfernotheFox. I know you like tearing video game companies a new asshole on YouTube, so I wanted to get your views on the bullshit that Slightly Mad Studios have been making recently with their reveal of Project Cars 2, their crowdfunding, and exclusive editions. One example is to release a diamond edition of the game where you get a load of bullshit, drive a Ferrari, and have a dinner with a developer in a luxury hotel for 10,000, what is that, pounds or some shit, or fucking euros? I don't know what the damn sign is. I don't have that shit on my keyboard, or $15,000. You know, I'll say this right now. I know a little bit about Project Cars. I know a little bit about Project Cars 2. They wanted to do crowdfunding. They wanted to be able to do their own game without a publisher telling them what to do. So the initial game was totally crowdfunded. They raised enough money, they created a game. And now they need more money. So I can understand a company trying to put out some perks in order to get some money for a game. I can understand that they want to avoid being with Activision. They want to avoid being with EA, Ubisoft, Take-Two, whatever the hell it is. They want to be on their own. They want to create a game with no restrictions. However, that costs money. And if you want to go bigger and better, you have to get more money up front. So, in order to do that, they have to create these crazy fucking things possible. Would I ever do it? Absolutely not. Do I think it's a scam for people to do it? Hell fucking yeah. But listen, if people want the game, they're going to spend gobs of money in order for that game to be created. Now, personally, I don't see anything wrong with offering different tiers and different rewards, but $15,000, come on, man. For $15,000, I might as well just wait for the fucking game and spend $60 on it. Fuck that shit. I ain't spending $15,000 to talk to a motherfucker. To me, it's excessive. It's stupid. You made a whole bunch of money the first time. You sold your product and made some money after that fact. Take that money and make the actual game afterwards with the revenue. But instead, they're going to try and bilk the customers, which to me is always going to be bullshit. Next question from BigMan319. If you could be any video game character, who would it be and why? I'd be Leisure Suit Larry so I could be with all those naked women. Hell yeah, man. That'd be my fucking choice. Next question from Jimocar. If you were to become the absolute king of the world, had the power to do anything you like, what would you do other than killing off half the population? What would you do regarding the science, education, religion, and the ever-going problem in the Middle East, destroying historical sites, mass murder villages, and shit like that? Well, you just took away the one thing which I would do, which is wipe away half the population. Start with all the damn terrorists in the Middle East, and that would be a start in this motherfucker. Now, the main thing that I would do, find the best protection possible, because those who are in power are always subject to assassinations, and I would have the largest target on my back. I'd be riding around that Pope Mobile to the 10th degree. Ain't fucking killing me in this bitch, man. But as far as the things that you mentioned, I would want all kids to have access to education in one way or another, particularly the important aspects of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You know, I think our world was filled with enough lawyers already, and we could use a lot more doctors and scientists in the world. I'm sure people would agree. I'm sure we have enough fucking streamers that make money off of bullshit YouTube video artists and shit like that. We need more people in STEM fields, in particular science and engineering. Those are two fields in which we have the greatest need for younger minds to participate in. Now, as for religion, you're free to believe in whatever you want to believe in. There's no persecution for it, but keep it to your damn self. I don't care what you believe in. I just don't want to hear about it or give a flying fuck about it. Your beliefs are protected, but so are mine to keep your shit to yourself. However, when it comes to religion, it will always be second banana to law. Religion does not impose laws. It's the other way around. Religion needs to follow the laws of the land. And mutually, laws will protect your own right to believe whatever the fuck you want to believe in. In other words, you can disagree with abortion or gay marriage all you want, but the law states they're legal, and the law will always trump religion. There's no law that will ever take away your religious beliefs, but there are going to be laws that are probably going to disagree with what you believe in, and guess what? The law will always be ahead of religious beliefs. That's just the way it's always going to be. Next question from Legend Slayer 98. If you had enough money to buy a high-end PC, along with the decent software to record for YouTube and some games, would you consider switching over to PC? I have the money. The money isn't the issue. I have plenty of money to buy whatever the fuck it is that I want. I just don't want to go to PC. It has nothing to do with the controller. It has nothing to do with the price tag. I'm just used to a PlayStation and a console. That's all. Next question from Unreadable Flyingcars. What the fuck? I don't know that. Anyway, he wants to know, what do you think of travel to Mars would be like, or living on Mars, and does this open the door to space travel and other planets and galaxies? You know, it's funny, there's going to be a movie coming up with Matt Damon called Martian. I think it's about him getting stuck on Mars and how to live on Mars and shit like that. First of all, what do you think of travel to Mars? I don't think it's going to be happening anytime soon. As there's a company out right now, I believe, they're asking for one-way trips to Mars. In other words, you're not coming back. We're going to send you out there, and that's going to be your entire life, is we're not going to be able to bring your ass back. That shit is fucking crazy. I'm not signing up for that shit. But anyway, as far as what do I think on living on Mars, as of right now, there is no potential to live on Mars. Obviously, there's no way to grow food on the planet, and that movie Martian is going to show the possibilities of it. But the fact is, we're still years and years away from any of that shit happening. As far as does it open the door to space travel and other planets, galaxies, and shit like that, let me just give you an idea of something. There's a probe out in space called Voyager 1. It was launched probably like 40 years ago. It was launched in the 70s or something like that, late 70s. It is just reaching the furthest parts of our galaxy. It is just getting to the edge of what we would call the solar system, and it's taken almost 40 fucking years to get there. And that son of a bitch is hauling ass. That's not like some slow fucking probe. That shit took forever to get the fuck out there. But it gives you an idea of just how large our solar system is, let alone the galaxy. I mean, there's going to be other shit out there, but the solar system alone is fucking enormous. We don't have the technology yet to do all the space exploration that we want. We're barely able to get out to fucking Mars, let alone to Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus. That shit is way the fuck out in the middle of goddamn nowhere. So to be able to get there, we're going to have to come up with some different technology, and I don't see that shit happening anytime in our lifetime. We're talking hundreds of years away from that. Next question from Games Haven. So the Final Fantasy remake was announced, and they said certain things are going to be changed. Should things be changed, or would you rather see the same with a new coat of paint? That high-def cloud and a dress though. I'll tell you right now, it's one thing if you're going to do a remaster, and obviously I think a remaster is coming to PlayStation 4. They're going to update the graphics. They're probably going to touch on that shit so that it's HD, better colors, or whatever the hell it is. If you're going to do that, no, you don't change something. But a lot of people don't realize this is a complete revisioning of Final Fantasy VII. They're taking the story and they're completely redoing it from the ground up. So yes, there are going to be changes, and there have to be changes in order to match the market of current times. Now, if you were to just take the old game, place it into today's game, it would fail magnificently. There is no way in hell that game would survive other than people knowing this is a Final Fantasy VII game. So yes, that whole revisioning thing that they have, I absolutely agree that they do have to make some changes. Now, one of the things that I would like to see is to see the original game on that disc. So let's say you do the Final Fantasy re-envisioning, remake, remaster, whatever you want to call that shit. Have the brand new game with the new graphics, the new story, everything brand new. But on a separate part of the game, maybe at the end, maybe as an Easter egg after you finish the game, have the original game on there as well. That way, anybody who wants to experience that can go back and see what the original looked like, and that way you can see what the new one looked like in order to make some comparisons. But yes, there has to be changes to match with current times. Next up, DJ Scribbles 28. You can get 3 wishes granted by a genie. Would you use those wishes for good or evil, or for your own desires, and what would they be? And of course, you can't do unlimited wishes or anything like that in regards to that. Now, first of all, I'm going to blow your mind for a second, because there's a very easy way around that unlimited wish shit, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is. Number 1, I wish that laws binding unlimited wishes were removed. And then number 2, I would follow that up by wishing that I had the ability to grant my own wishes without the power of a genie. See, look at that. In just 2 wishes, I removed the concept of needing a genie to give me unlimited wishes because I just rendered him useless. Now, the third and final wish that I would ask for is to be omnipotent and all-seeing, all-power being with the ability to do anything that I want. Now, I don't need wishes at all. All those 3 things just made me the most powerful thing possible. And at no point did I ask for the genie to give me unlimited wishes. Basically, I took the law away, I gave myself the ability, and I made myself omnipotent. So as of right now, those 3 wishes put together get me to circumvent that silly unlimited wish rule. See, I told you, man, I always have a plan for this shit. Fuck that, now I have unlimited shit to do. I can wish whatever the fuck I want at this point. Next question, the Forsaken King wants to know, what are your thoughts on genetic modification such as GMOs and hybrid animals? Now, there's one thing I don't think people realize. We're already eating a lot of GMOs outside of what people normally consider a GMO. Here's a great example. Have you ever eaten a grape that's seedless? You ever thought about that for a second? Do you know that those green grapes or white grapes, whatever people want to call those shits, that's a GMO. That's historically a GMO. What ended up happening years ago was growers figured out how to get rid of seeds out of grapes. They crossbred grape after grape after grape in order to get a seedless grape. After doing so, they managed to breed the lines throughout history in order to make sure that all the green grapes that we have normally don't have seeds. I mean, think about it. You bite into a green grape, what do you get? You might get a small seed or some shit like that. But in the past, you would get a gigantic seed. That's a GMO. That's a genetically modified organism. Something that didn't happen naturally in the wild that humans came along and did. But people don't think about that. Like, oh, fuck it, I had a grape and didn't have a seed? Perfect. Navel oranges, another perfect example. They used to have gigantic seeds inside of navel oranges, but over the years, growers figured out how to crossbreed two different oranges, and you ended up with navel oranges without any seeds. Same with watermelons, same with apples, same with certain brands of lettuce. There's all kinds of foods that have naturally been crossbred in order to create a new genetically modified organism. Now, if we're talking about injecting shit with fucking steroids and drugs and shit like that, you know, I want to make a fucking salmon that regrows its own flesh. Obviously, that shit like that is not natural. But if you're just talking about crossbreeding two different brands of flowers, two different brands of foods, two different brands of an item that we could create a better product for, and we've done that throughout history, I don't have a problem with that part. But if you're talking injecting something to make it better, oh, hell no. We ain't talking about fucking putting drugs in this shit. But as far as GMOs, as long as it's natural, I don't have a problem with it. If you're putting man-made shit into it, yeah, then we have an issue. Now, as far as hybrid animals, here's my thing. If nature intended for two animals to be crossbred, let nature take its course. Obviously, when it comes to people wanting to make ligers, you know, where it's a lion and a tiger or some shit like that, or a polar bear and a Kodiak bear, yeah, don't fucking do it. Don't force the issue. There's no reason to crossbreed two animals that have absolutely no reason to be crossbred. Outside of the exception of maybe like an animal that's on the verge of extinction. You remember like Lonesome George, that giant turtle that was the last turtle of its kind on the planet? They wanted to kind of crossbreed it with another turtle in order to save some of the genes and shit like that. That I understand. That I can agree with. But if you're just going out capturing a lion, capturing a tiger, and putting them together and say, hey, I made a liger, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. This is not South Park. You're not trying to make a 7-ass monkey. Oh, look over here, my 7-ass monkey. No, you ain't trying to do that shit, man. Let nature take its course. If nature doesn't want two animals to crossbreed and doesn't allow it, don't fucking force the issue. The only time I would ever possibly agree with that is, like I mentioned, to save a species from extinction, which most likely man caused. Anyway, Seaman 1997 Sonic, another fucking crazy name. If you could choose to be in any video game world, which would it be and why? Very simple. SSX. I want to snowboard like a motherfucker. Hell yeah, man. I don't want to be in a game where I have to step on Goomba's heads. I don't want to be in a game where I have fucking enemies throwing fireballs at me or some shit like that. Snowboarding. Put me on a mountain, give me a snowboard, and I'm happy as shit. Next two questions. This just shows you how fucking crazy my goddamn subscribers are. Just look at these two shits, man. From this motherfucker with the Shiba Inu, have you banged the chick that did the dual hipfire commentary with you? Really, dude? And then this winner, Bae Asian, would you rather perform 99% of the blowjob, the sucking, or the 1%, the cum shot? I mean, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Do you like come up with this shit and say, hey, this sounds like a great fucking question to ask. Let me go ask this shit? I swear, man, some of the people that watch my channel are just absolutely fucking crazy. Next question from IrisnGen. This is just some creepy shit. Will we ever go to lunch? Now listen, I know people are going to be like, what? Why is he asking that? Iris is one of the guys over at Prestige Gamers. He works and lives here in New York, so obviously we're really close. He's always asking, when are we going out to lunch? So naturally he decided to throw that shit up for this question and answer session. Next question, look at this motherfucker, Sterling Archer. So I thought long and hard about what I'm going to ask you, and now I decided to ask you this, and it's time to have you seen my show. It's called Archer. I know about it. I've seen the commercials. It's never interested me to watch that shit, so no, I have not watched that shit. Next question from Happy Dude 12able. How many different things can you think of that involve a banana? Now, I don't know what the fuck you do with bananas in your life. If you're thinking of some sexual shit on Pornhub or some girls masturbating with a banana, listen, that's all for you. But as far as for me, man, I just think of that shit as fucking food. That's all I want to use a banana for, whether I eat a banana normally, whether you put a banana split, bowl of cereal, whatever the fuck it is. But all I want to do with bananas is eat the motherfucker. That's it. Next question from Geoff Da Finga. What is your opinion on the new Need for Speed shown at E3? Now, obviously, they're going to try and go back to their original roots, you know, with the underground and the tuner cars and the Japanese imports and shit like that. However, my biggest concern is every time they went with a series like that, it came with a cheesy storyline. And those storylines are what drove me away from the franchise to begin with. So when the game came back with Hot Pursuit, there was no story. It was just car chases and shit like that. That brought me back to the game. That was what I like. I just want some racing. I don't want some cheesy-ass story to follow down the same line as the Fast and Furious. So if they're going to put a story in the motherfucker, I probably won't get it. But if it's going to come without a story, which I highly doubt because Underground needs a story, then I'm not too sure if I will get it because it has those cheesy-ass storylines that I don't like. Anyways, we're going to wrap things up here for the first video, and I have a few more videos to go this week with all your questions. So if you didn't see your question in this video, Chances are it's still yet to come. So as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit. And I'll see you guys in the next video.